Bob Ballantyne served the United States as a United States Marine. He's an electrical engineer with his follow-on education concentrating on molecular and atomic spectroscopy. His body of science research work focuses on environmental monitoring, mitigation, and remediation systems design, with an emphasis on waste stream reduction. His current role as Senior Vice President for RWI Evaporation has allowed him to pursue the raw scientific research into finding ways to fundamentally change the environmental mitigation markets and methods in legacy and operational mine water balance. Please welcome him.
Thank you. So I just wanted you to know God changed the rules and all engineers are now going directly to hell. So turned out Steve, a civil engineer, put a pressure main in a lift station in Salvation Park up in heaven. It was a little odorous, so the change was made. After a while, the devil has had engineers coming down. He's not allowed to punish them. God just doesn't want them up there anymore. God makes a call down. He wants to know how things are going on. The devil tells him, it's great. Like, we got air conditioning. We have infrastructure coming in. There's rare earths down here that we're after. So we got volumes of cash coming in. God says, well, that's not exactly what I wanted. He said, well, I mean, there's mechanical engineers too. So we haven't seen torture like this since the Tower of London. So God says, you're happy? He's like, very happy. He says, I want all my engineers back right now. The devil says, no, that's not going to happen. God says, well, I'm going to sue you. And the devil starts laughing. He goes, where are you going to get a lawyer in heaven? So, coming down to just to give you some updates and a little bit of what we've been up to, and then share some stuff where we do some expert witnessing that might help you keep from losing your license. I guess I went the wrong way. There we go. I wanted you to know we did finish the floating cooling tower project. This is Alaska. It's an Air Force base. They were out of room. So we were able to strip 100 million BTUs an hour for them, allowing them to increase their power output on their coal-fired power plant and without having to put in any kind of infrastructure that a normal cooling tower would have. So that went really well. Now we're down in several areas of the Pacific Northwest looking at cooling water for endangered species fish and raceways that raise endangered species fish. We finished our project or started our project and have it ongoing with Albemarle and the San Pedro de Atacama Desert down in Chile. We're pre-concentrating, took them from losing money in the wintertime to break even. So very nice area of the world. If you have never been to Chile and get a chance, go. Very modern country. You can drink the water. You can go anywhere you really want to with the food and not have any kind of trouble. The Atacama Desert itself is beautiful, but it only gets 0.4 inches of water every 10 years. So bring water with you. It's going to do it. Michelle and I made the trip up there. She was my navigator. Because it was Exponor, which is a very large mining conference in Antofagasta, we ended up with a Citroen, which is like a little tiny buggy car, but it's French, so at least it had the heart of a Ferrari. We raced that baby up there to the Atacama Desert. Some interesting infrastructure in Chile, about 30 miles out of town, 60 kilometers or 65 kilometers out of town. It turns to dirt and sand, and you drive that for 260 miles. So it's quite a ways up in there. And we had a pretty good time up there. It was the first time Michelle got to eat in the company cafeteria. I asked her, "Oh, how did you like that?" She said, "It's just like the cafeteria, only instead of the mean cafeteria lady, there's a mean mining guy at the door." So I learned a lot. This is Vino del Mar, where we're setting up our operations in Chile. It's a port. That's why we're down there. This is the Sheraton. I'd recommend you stay there. They gave us the suites on the top floor, and they said they're really expensive. They were $150 a night, so it's not really that expensive, but I guess it was to them. It's the Pacific Ocean, Southern Pacific Ocean is really, really beautiful. If you get a chance in your lifetime to see it, you should see it. Um, so that's our update on our travels. We travel about 22 weeks a year. So we get to see some interesting places of the world. I'll get you on to some of the nuttier claims we see on evaporation. So we make evaporators. In the book is the article where we've been working with ExxonMobil on the research for a couple of years. It made the Wall Street Journal, so they put that in there for you if you read it at your leisure. I don't like to do these talks as a big talk about our equipment. I'd like to talk about how to keep you from losing your license. We see these claims. I got really worried because we've seen several bids come out with some really crazy stuff on it. So you need to take a look at this machine. It's 130 horsepower. It's blasting about 600 gallons a minute into the air. They're claiming about 300 gallons a minute of evaporation. I don't know why someone would believe this, but if this water is not pure, if it's not river water, you're going to have a plume for hundreds of miles to clean up within 7 years. So their claim is this is a company out of Australia, 30 meters out, 20 meters up, and then everything drops to the water. Nothing could be further from the truth. We know because we used to make high horsepower machines, as a lot of evaporator companies started off just converting snowmakers and adding wastewater to them, which is a real problem since a snowmaker really relied on clean water. This is a 75 horsepower machine we used to make. A green area is wet bulb. The temperature can't go below wet bulb as long as there's water there. So when you see the light blue pick up, this is a 50,000 TDS I mixed up. It's chloride, sodium chloride and potassium chloride, so table salt and table salt for people with hypertension. Where you see the blue, that is the 50,000 TDS dry aerosol loft, and you have no idea where this is going to come down. It's all below 10 micron. Most of it's in the 2.5 to 5 micron range, and it's going to drift forever. So this was 2015 when I was brought in to turn around RWI. This was the last day we sold this kind of equipment. Here's one that's out of Canada. There's a company out of Canada that converted pesticide sprayer check shape thing to do it. This is their explanation, engineering wise, which there can't be an engineer there. This would have never been done. But how it works. And you people in the separation sciences, filtering water and dropping water and cleaning water and using RO and water will be happy to know that that is a waste of time. What you really have to do is shoot the water out of this snow cannon, and magically the water vapor and the chemicals separate. No explanation how, but it does. And the water vapor, only H2O, merely goes up to return to the hydrological cycle, while the chemicals and the solids all fall out back to the ground. So I don't even know why I went to school if we could clean water this easy. Anyway, just want you to know, you see this and you believe it, you probably need a little more schooling. So this is some high-speed photography work we did. We really we passed RADCON. So we handle all the radionuclide water for Los Alamos and Idaho National Labs, and a little bit out on Rocky Mountain Arsenal. So they really put you through the grill before they're going to let you ever evaporate a single drop of water out there. And they got like 17 people to watch every single person you have. So there's like 80 people out there making sure with Geiger counters that you don't do anything. So this is a 150 micron droplet here. And we're pushing it down in front of a 70-mile-an-hour acceleration wind. And T plus 4.7 milliseconds, you can see the droplets already destabilizing under acceleration. By T plus 7, we've already shattered at the top. So now we're not 150 microns, we're lots of little droplets. T plus 10.4 or 10.7, I can't read it from here. We've shattered the medium-sized droplets in T plus 15 milliseconds. This 150 micron droplet is now somewhere between 58 and 88, depending on the breakup, which depends on the specific gravity. So there's some chemistry in there with surface tension. But it'll be somewhere between 58 and 88 microparticles, and they'll all be below 10 micron. So when you're flashing droplets of water through high pressure nozzles into high speed, high pressure air, if it's contaminated, each droplet is contaminated at the same level. There's no magical separation when we're flying through the air. And when that dries out in flight, you have a pollution plume. And that pollution plume, if you're under 10 microns, you really have no idea where it's going to come down. 10 micron droplet dropped in a dead still wind tunnel takes 66 minutes to drop 10 feet. 3 meters for those of you into the meter thing. So with the 66 minutes, if we're in a 20-mile-an-hour crosswind, you're 20 miles away, right? Only we have to take in hysteresis, geological features, civil features. So you have all kinds of turbulence and wind changes that you really don't know where this is going to come down. So if you ever get hauled into court and they're asking you these things and you see me on the other side for the deposition, just write the check. It's going to be easier on you. So we received this project outline. This is what got us started on this because we realized we really needed to start talking to state and federal regulatory agencies. This was put out in Florida. So they wanted 2 evaporators to evaporate 500 gallons per evaporator, 1,000 gallons total evaporation. We're just going to focus on 500 gallons because the PE signed off on this. Now, I don't know how, but they actually believe this. This is salesman talk, like insurance salesman talk. This is really bad. So one of the easiest ways to do it, if you get into these positions where you need to know, how in the world do I know whether this is even possible, is to get back to some basic principles, right? So let's calculate back to the induced draft required just to carry that kind of water. So you can do this chart, and this charts are available everywhere. You can also do it with a psychrometric chart, following out on the upper lines. The point is, you can take a look at temperature, you can take a look at relative humidity. You know how many grains of water can be lofted per cubic foot of air? And that should let you go backwards to, how much air really needs to be moved to evaporate 500 gallons a minute. So one thing that will help you do this is the Wells curve. Wells curve, very, very useful in evaporation and pollution plume monitoring and pollution plume control. The slides will be up on the, I assume they still do that, but the slides will be up on the website. So I put the link at the top. The MIT did a really nice job. I'm a fellow with the American Association of Aerosol Researchers. We did a lot of work back during the COVID times on how spit floats through the air and dries out. So this Wells curve goes way back into the 1930s and does a real good job of showing you loss of evaporative loss over time versus height of release. They do a much better job than I can do of it. If you click on the link, when the slides are up, it's this MIT professor. He did a good job with it. So what happens next using the 0.8 pounds per cubic foot of air? It will take 1,668,332 pounds of air to hold 600 gallons uh, of water at 70% humidity. So this spec that a company put out with a stamp on it, basically you need to move 1,700,000 pounds of air, which will calculate out to roughly 176,409,000 CFM of air if you wanted to get rid of 600 gallons a minute of water through evaporation in 70% humidity, 90-degree F air. So that right there should, as an engineer, let you know, that machine only has 80 horsepower. How in the world is it going to do that? So luckily, my early days were all in coal mining. So we go back to fan law because of the ventilation engineer. And if we just use the basic fan law formula and know what we want to achieve that airflow at a half a PSI, that's not very high pressure, with an efficiency of 85% movement, which very rarely happens. All it would take to do this for the power company that put this out and make their PE happy is, 462,000 horsepower. So to move that air. So, I mean, we sent in questions, obviously, and couldn't believe it when they let the bid go forward. So this is going to be very interesting to see. So just know that with a couple of really simple formulas, it's very easy to prove this is impossible to do, and you need to pack your flyer up and get out of my office. What the evaporation game really turns into is a giant latent heat game. You got to play with latent heat. We don't care where you get it. For us, we use the sun and the water. That's what we care about. We are working on a new one because with the Exxon Mobil problem down in the Permian Basin in West Texas, you have to deal with the solids. So I know you think you have a problem with TDS. I've seen mine water TDS in the 30,000 range. What we're talking about coming up out of the Permian Basin is 170,000 TDS. Most of it's chloride. So we have all these people down there right now. They're all going to recycle and reuse the water. And I keep asking them, what's your plan for the solids? We were just there last week in Dallas. We got a guy who's got a small modular nuclear reactor license, and he's planning on purifying it all through distillation. And we asked him, what's your plan for the solids? No plan for the solids. I'm like, well, I've done the math. You need to know every 26 days you're going to fill Cowboy Stadium to the top with solids. So it's a slight problem you might want to consider before you start evaporating. Just saying. So what we're looking at now is because the temperature of vaporization is about 900, or energy for vaporization, about 940.7 BTUs per pint. Pints a pound the world around. It gets expensive, even if you're the developer of the gas or the oil. It gets expensive to heat. So we're running a new R&D project on steam, using solar for steam, creating a full steam plant, and then using that to inject and push the latent heat up. That'll let us stretch the hydrogen bonds out, increase the efficiency rate of the phase change between liquid and gas, and hopefully help take care of this water, which we can only really concentrate it to about 270,000 TDS. Then it's going to have to go downhole because the solids problem is just too big. It's the site it works. That'll be up as well. It's real important to know we didn't invent anything. We just started looking at how to apply past science, improve it a little bit, and improve the pollution control methodology for using that. This is also be online. And then I'd like to thank you for your time, and Appreciate you listening and love coming to this thing every year. Thank you very much.